The Seahawks have officially made a move, or shall I say, not made a move, that has pushed our Super Bowl MVP out the door, as they have decided not to use the franchise tag on him, while other teams around the league have tagged their top free agents. This move is going to shake up everything for the Seahawks and leaves us with immense uncertainty at the running back position. Today, we are breaking down the truth behind this Seahawks shocking move. What is up, everyone? Hope you're having a great day from wherever you are tuning in from. Kyle Guerrero here, bringing you another episode of Seahawks Digest. We bring you everything Seattle Seahawks news related, rumor related, and even report related as they are happening in real time. And today is a big day in the NFL because today was the deadline that you could put a franchise tag on a player on your roster. And teams all over the league have decided if they were going to do this or if they were not. And the Seahawks had a really big decision if they were going to tag Kenneth Walker or not. Yes, there were reports a few weeks ago that they were not going to do it, but it is official now. We are not tagging Kenneth Walker, which is really interesting because the New York Jets decided to tag Breece Hall in this whole free agency. It has been 1A, 1B with Breece Hall and Walker, and teams had their eyes on both of them. So with Breece Hall officially off the board, Kenneth Walker's market has just exploded, and he is all but out of Seattle, unfortunately. So today we are breaking down everything that is going on and where the Seahawks could go from here, what options we have to replace Kenneth Walker at running back. So let's dive right into it. But before we do, we have noticed that 98% of you guys are not subscribed. And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Seattle Seahawks news, reports, and rumors as they are happening, please hit that subscribe button. It is free and it immensely helps us grow this Seahawks YouTube channel. First things first, the New York Jets have tagged running back Breece Hall as they continue to hammer out a lucrative long-term deal. New York is placing the $14.3 million franchise tag on a standout running back. The tag is designed as a placeholder until the two sides can reach an agreement. And man, this is just bad for us Seahawk fans who really wanted Kenneth Walker to come back because, yeah, it has been 1A, 1B this whole offseason, and Breece Hall just got $4.3 million. So let's keep going. With this move happening, Albert Breer mentions Denver, Kansas City, and Seattle's potential landing spots for running back Kenneth Walker. There are plenty other teams as well. I know Chicago have their eye on him, the New York Giants, the Denver Broncos, but Walker would probably wind up getting somewhere between $12 million and $16 million per season from one of these teams, which is just absurd money. It is really absurd money. Because let's just look here at what the top running backs around the league are getting paid. Saquon's at 20.6, CMC's at 19, Derrick Henry is at 15. So now Breece Hall is going to slide into that fourth spot at that $14.3 million. So with K9 being in the mark between 12 and 16, he is way up there in the league's top 5, top 6 guys if he's able to get a contract like that signed. So this is major news in the Kenneth Walker saga because the Seahawks have a history of not paying guys like this the amount they want. John Schneider lets them go out and see what they can get in free agency and then tries to negotiate a little bit of a hometown deal, a hometown discount just to get a guy enticed to come back to Seattle. It is also worth noting that after Breece Hall got tagged today, there were multiple other players around the league that did not get tagged, and some of those players are Kenneth Walker, the Colts, Alec Pierce, Chargers, Owe, the Jaguars, Travis Etienne, which is a guy the Seahawks are monitoring right now. The Ravens, Tyler Linderbaum, which is another guy the Seahawks are monitoring right now. And the Bengals defensive edge Trey Hendrickson, which I guess is another guy the Seahawks are technically monitoring. I mean, I guess we're monitoring everyone who's on the market right now and available and who could potentially be on the roster for next year, but let's keep going. So just to add in a little bit more about why K9's market has now exploded, speaking with sources from two teams expected to pursue Ken Walker, the value of Breece Hall's franchise tag, $14.2 mil, likely will be the sweet spot in APY on a multi-year deal for the back. We'll see what happens, but that likely will be a way too rich for the Seahawks. The Jets hope to be able to transition tag Hall at a little over $11 million, but other teams were going to make a run at him at that price. There's a big drop-off on the market after Walker and Hall, so those two are going to set the ceiling this year for free agency, which, yeah, it makes sense. Breece Hall is a hype name, but also Kenneth Walker just won the Super Bowl MVP. There's no shortage of teams out there that would love to get their hands on Walker. It'll be very interesting to see how many years he gets on a deal, how much is guaranteed money, how much is incentivized, because we do need to remember Kenneth Walker has been injured in past years, and it's been why he's not been healthy in the later parts of the season. But let's dive into Kenneth Walker's stats here on this past season. He had 1,027 yards on the ground and rushed for 4.65 yards per carry. He also added another 282 yards in the air, and he only accounted for 5 touchdowns on the year. Again, we all know that Kenneth Walker split his load with Charbonnet this year, and they were a 1A, 1B type of backfield, which allowed Kenneth Walker to stay healthy for the latter part of the season and allowed him to stay healthy into the playoffs all the way into the Super Bowl and led us to winning the Super Bowl with his absolute dominant performance. I think K9 played at his ceiling during these playoffs, and I don't see it getting too much better from here. And I don't see him necessarily giving that consistency over a full season long. So I don't know if 14.2 or if even $12 million is for Kenneth Walker moving forward. Let's look at some of the other options that might be available here for the Seahawks as free agency starts. Here's a photo from a few weeks ago, Josh and Hayden's top 12 free agency running backs. This was before guys got tagged or extended. So Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall is not here anymore. Javonte Williams is not here anymore. And everyone else is here and available. So the Seahawks do have some options here if they want to bring in a veteran running back. And the top guys that we're looking at right here, obviously Kenneth Walker, sure, if we want to pay the bag for him, yes, he is still there. We have Travis Etienne, who's probably going to go for about $6-7 million, about $5 to $6 million less than Kenneth Walker. And he put up pretty much identical stats on the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. A name I really like as well is Rico Dowdle. When Chuba Hubbard went down with that injury for 4 games in the middle of the season, I think Dowdle had like 2 or 3 200 rushing yard games, and he just wanted an opportunity. He's looking to go to a team where he will be the featured back. I could see a guy like him taking a little bit less money to come to the Seahawks on a winning team and be the guy. Also in reports, there has been Tyler Algier that has been connected with the Seahawks, and even as recent as today, Kenneth Gainwell has also been in the report. So let's take a look at some of these guys' stats over the past year. First one up, we have Travis Etienne Jr., who put up 1,100 yards on the ground, rushed for 7 touchdowns and 4.26 per carry, and also added another 300 yards in the air. His stats were basically identical to Kenneth Walker, a little bit less on that yards per carry, but he's another guy who is explosive like Kenneth Walker and has that ability to break off for a 30, 40, 50, 60-yard touchdown kind of at any point. He would be a great option to replace K9. Our number 2 option here is Tyler Algier, who nobody is excited about. But Tyler Algier is a start. He does have starting running back capabilities. And if he was not playing with Bijan Robinson, I swear to God, there's 15, 20 other teams that he could start on. He only put up 500 rushing yards this year, but he did have 8 touchdowns. He is a great goal line guy. He does not do too much in the air, though, but he is a good pass blocker. Lastly, the Seahawks have also been linked to Kenneth Gainwell, who rushed for 530 yards and did another 500 in the air. He adds a little bit of a different dynamic that K9 didn't have. He does a lot more in the pass catching game, but I don't know if that's going to be something that the Seahawks are looking to add to, but just another name to keep on our radar there. If we look at who the Seattle Seahawks do still have on their roster, of course, we have Zach Charbonnet, who was amazing for us this year, but he went down with that torn ACL in that 49ers divisional round game, and he probably, even if he comes back in September, he is not going to be fully 100% till November, because it's not just about getting the knee right, it's about getting the mental game right and being willing to take those hits again. He rushed for 730 yards, but had 12 touchdowns. And a lot of people, at least in my fantasy league, were calling him a touchdown vulture from Kenneth Walker. And that might be why Kenneth Walker wants to leave, but, you know, whatever. Zach Charbonnet will be back for us, and most importantly, he will be back for the latter half of next season. He will be a big difference maker. But if we look into going into training camp for us this summer, the only player who's a running back on our roster right now is George Holani, who we just tendered yesterday. He rushed for 73 yards this season and 1 touchdown. He did have a nice run in the playoffs where he backed up Kenneth Walker. I think he had maybe 5 to 7 touches in those 2 games after Charbonnet went down. Yeah, he's been good for us. He's been good in the backfield rotation, but I don't know how I feel about him as a lead back. There was also Kenny McIntosh, who also played a little bit as well, but I'm not too familiar with his game. So if you guys know much about Kenny M, let me know. Let me know if you think George Holani and Kenny M should be our starting backfield going into next season. We are at that point of the episode where we are going to break down what nobody is talking about. And for us, that is, we need to trust the general manager of the year, John frickin' Schneider, because he was bulletproof. He was great last offseason. He's been great the last few years, and he should be bulletproof this offseason. I've seen a lot of anxiety about the Walker situation and what may or may not do. Why? Remember, John Schneider just got his 2nd ring with an entirely different team and staff than he did 11, 12, however many years ago. He's earned a free year without questioning him. We need to really trust what John Schneider is doing and what he thinks. If he doesn't think Kenneth Walker is worth bringing back on a $14 million deal, he knows what he's doing. He's going to go out and get some free agent. He's going to do it in the draft. We need to trust John here. Now, sad moment for the Seahawks. At least this is a very sad moment for me because I am a big Bobo fan, and the understanding is that the Seahawks wanted Bobo back. They just weren't going to tender him for north of $3 million. And Bobo was a guy who always made the right play at the right time. He would never play a lot, but when you needed him, he came through. He had a huge 3rd down catch against the 49ers, and he even had a touchdown in the NFC Championship game against the Rams at Lumen Field just a little bit over a month ago, helping us punch our ticket to the Super Bowl. People all over Twitter are saying George Holani might be RB1, knowing what the Seahawks have done in years past. So I want to know, are you comfortable with George Holani being the Seahawks RB1 until Charbonnet is back, and also until Charbonnet is fully healthy? It might be trending in that situation. Only time can tell. Now, it is worth pointing out here that Kenneth Walker is still available. If we want to go out and pay for Kenneth Walker, we can still get him. But what would the risk versus reward of doing that look like for the Seahawks? And basically the reward is we run back the offense that we had last year. It will be explosive. Kenneth Walker, we got him back. We know what he can do. We've seen him do it in the playoffs already. We've seen him win the Super Bowl for us and his proven chemistry with the Seahawks. The risk is it's an expensive contract, and the running back shelf life is short, and it could limit other roster moves because we still have a number of moves we still need to decide on what we're doing, and that's Kobe Bryant, that is Tariq Woolen, Josh Jobe. There's multiple guys that we still need to figure out what the hell we're going to do. And this really sucks for Kenneth Walker because he's a running back. If he was a wide receiver, this would be completely different, and I found this tweet really interesting. Isn't it crazy how we'll balk at paying 14 mil per year for an elite running back who gets 20 plus carries a game, but we won't think twice when an elite wide receiver gets 40 million per year for 10 targets, 6 catches a game? It's just unfortunate, but that running back position, they really get banged up back there, even if they are the workhorse of our offense. Now, what this really signals for Seattle and not franchise tagging John Schneider is this is the Seahawks way. The Seahawks have an identity, and they know who they are, and they know what they want to do. And they are sticking to it instead of just handing over the bag to a player who's, yes, he has been great to us. They're doing the right business move for the team. And it's not even business move because it's, we need to have the right team guys in the locker room as well. And if we pay a bag to one player, then we are going to shortchange other people around them. So what to keep an eye out for next? We need to see what teams Kenneth Walker takes a visit with once free agency starts on March 11th and what his market is looking like at that time. We also need to see whether Seattle enter negotiations with him, which of course they're going to. We need to monitor other running back signings, who is on that list of guys that we went over a little bit earlier in the video. And we also need to monitor what the draft is looking like and who are guys around where the Seahawks have picks in the draft this year that could potentially come in and replace K9 along with George Holani and Zach Charbonnet when he's back. Now, it is time for the 12's verdict, but we want to hear from you guys on what you think about what the Seahawks should do for the running back room. Should we Re-sign Kenneth Walker and give that boy his bag? Should we go after Travis Etienne? Pretty much the same production, but a little bit cheaper. Should we go after Rico Dowell, a guy that needs an opportunity and is going to come over on a much lesser contract? Should we go for a veteran in Kenneth Gainwell, who's a little bit different of a player but brings that veteran experience? Or should we go out and get a rookie in the draft that can come in and immediately be the RB1? Or should we do something completely different? Honestly, if we can get the numbers right, I would be so happy to see Travis Etienne or Rico Dowell in a Seahawks jersey come training camp. I'd also be interested to see us draft a running back who can come in one of the later rounds and potentially be a difference maker. And guys, I am still all over the Seahawks going out and getting Nick Chubb for like $1 million or like $2 million or something, just to come in and be that bruising back in that backfield. And, you know, when we need 2 yards, 3 yards, 4-yard pickup, Nick Chubb is going to go out there and get it. But anyways, comment down below who you think the Seahawks should go after and why. That's going to do it for this episode of Seahawks Digest. As always, I am Kyle Guerrero. Thank you for watching. And please, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button down below. Till next time, go Hawks.